Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 22nd day here. Last show before Christmas. I won't have a program on Christmas Day. But listen, folks, I've got a really good interview with former guest Mike Westhoff. Now, that will be aired on Christmas night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Westhoff is now the assistant head coach of the Denver Broncos, talking about his book, Figured Out. So check that out on Monday, Christmas night there, Pickles. That will be on here. Got a great show. Hopefully, Carlos Madden New Yorker Chavez will be showing up pretty soon. I haven't seen him in the back of the studio yet. But either way, going to go over this week's biggest games, the 49ers and the Ravens. Some calling it a Super Bowl preview. Could very well be so. Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, something's got to give. Dallas has got to beat somebody over 500. And, of course, the Cowboys need to win a significant road game, actual win. So looks like Carlos has popped up back there. Let's go ahead and get our first and only break out of the way, and we'll hit the ground running here in 49 seconds here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. I'm trying to get this tie straight here. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, get no
respect around here.
Hey, good to see you, man. Good Friday night here. Carlos Madden, New Yorker Chavez. Now, there was a major signing in baseball today. I know you're more familiar with the major league game. The pitcher. Yeah,
He's a pitcher.
Dodgers signed a famous pitcher. This guy.
Yamamoto.
Thank you. Yamamoto. They've signed Tyler Glasnow. And, of course, we all know about Ohtani, who's not going to pitch until 25, but he will be L.A. Dodgers. There was one report now that's saying if you add all these contracts up towards the end of Ohtani's, it's over $1 billion in contracts. Remember, $700 million to Ohtani. What's your thoughts about this Dodger team, man?
I love it. Keep doing it. Keep getting all those high-end prize players and take them out the market. Sure, they're not coming to New York, but what happens is that when you take these big contracts on your team, you leave a little bit under the, you don't leave anything left in your budget to get something when you need the help. So,
yeah,
let them do it. Let them try to buy a championship. Every team tries it, and most teams don't. It don't work in baseball. It doesn't work in most sports, but when it does, you pat yourself on the back and you say, "Yeah, I spent that money and I got a championship." So that's it's not that time yet for something like that to work, but it's good for the Dodgers, man. And I say that in a sense where, like that they got that brand, they got that the history. They're trying to live up to being the best in the West, and congratulations to one of my buddies, a former Cat from Clarksville, Tennessee, Kelvin Colon over there. He's worked, he's part of a scout team there for the Dodgers. So,
really?
Yeah.
Great. Bring him on the program if you can pull some strings.
Yeah, but big ups to him.
It's been a long time, huh?
He's also one of the lead managers for the team in Puerto Rico. So
nice.
Yeah. So Santurce. So but like at the end of the day, you got to do you, and ownership's got to do right by some of these players. And if they can't do it, then they got to work a way around it. And at the end of the day, the New York metropolitan area is not made for people like Ohtani and Yamamoto. And I guess the fans got to understand that these guys aren't like other players who come from Latin America or the Caribbean, and they're just going to jump on the board with you signing them a big check. Not saying that they're not getting paid.
Yeah,
I won't say that they're not getting paid, but the only bad thing is that Yamamoto took the offer straight to the Dodgers. It sounds like. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how that ended up, and it didn't give an opportunity to the Yankees or the Mets to rebuff. So it is what it is. It's business. It's more business than it is baseball.
Ohtani's got a fellow countryman on the team. He would have
had one here. He would have had one here on the Mets as well. I was all for the Mets getting having three players.
Yeah,
because I don't. People forget sometimes that the Japanese national baseball team is like in the top 3 of the baseball teams in the world. Yeah. So their players on their team actually know how to win, and that's a culture that you want on your team. Is got players that will, put all that stuff to the side and just go out there and play baseball. So, and that's why some of these South Asians and Southeast Asian players are coming up into Major League Baseball, because their teams are doing well internationally. They might play in a league that is not as long as Major League Baseball, but they have the capacity and the potential to do things, and they're just getting better at baseball. And eventually, they're going to be flooding in the league, because if our baseball players here in the minors can't do it and we can't bring them up, then somebody else got to come up and do it.
Yeah, I still think teams like the Mets and Yankees need to get back to the basics. That's where the Dodgers started. They started building up their infrastructure with their minor league system and scouts and everything, like the Dodgers did. Then they built inside out, not outside in. This Dodger team, I don't follow a lot of baseball. I do like the fact, I know Keith might not, I do like the fact that they tighten up the pitch clock. It's going to be a little bit faster. It's going to be a little bit faster. And, the Dodgers, they might not win a World Series out of this, but the truth of the matter is they'll probably be fun to watch in the summer. They'll probably win 110 games the next 3 years. And there'll be a good draw for the West Coast. And every time they're on ESPN or Fox or whatever, and it's a June the 16th or something, there's nothing going on, then the finals are done. I'm going to tune in, man. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. I mean, they got a really good team there. It's a lot of star power.
Yeah, but star power or not, man. At the end of the day, it happened last year and it happened the year before that. Your bats got to come to hit, and your pitchers got to come to strike pitcher out.
Yeah.
Out, and
who's playing well in September and October?
Right, exactly. So, and it's
see the Phillies. They knocked out the Braves last year.
Yeah, and it's usually not some of these guys who's spending all that money. So,
right.
And if that was something that worked all the time, it would be something copycat.
Mets will have about 10 rings by now.
10. We probably have like 25. They got Bobby Bonilla Day because of something like this. They have they wasted a contract and the signing in a cat called Jason Bay at one point. I don't know if you remember him from taking him from the Boston Red Sox.
I know that's a big name.
And they've had Mo Vaughn come and
Alomar.
So but even when they had Roberto Alomar, he was on a downside, but still.
Yeah, both of them. Mo Vaughn was on downside weight and everything.
Yeah, but Roberto Alomar, they had that year they played the Yankees. They had the best defense in the infield because they had Piazza and they had Olerud, and then they had Ordonez, and they so they had guys up in what's his name, Fonzie. They had Alfonso. So like they had They had a good group of
Pete Alonso.
No, Alonso, Venezuelan guy.
Okay.
He played second base, but they had they had guys on that team, and they had what's his name, who's the commentator now for not Kenny Rogers. Did they have Kenny Rogers? What's this guy's name? I can't.
Hernandez?
He pitched for the Yankees and the Rangers too. Like
okay.
I Can't remember his name, but he's a commentator for MLB. But they had guys.
Ain't no telling.
So, but
Pickles will probably know. Well, anyways, I like it. I think it's awesome. I'm not a huge baseball guy, but it's still fun to follow the big contract signings. I've always liked that,
Yeah. No, and it's like if you're one of those fans in that team, you get excited, right? You start be like, all right, baseball season, let's see what you got for me. And then, reality hits you in the middle of summer and you're like, oh, we got to win some.
Man, I was hyped up on December 15th. Now it's June 15th and there's 7 games back.
Exactly. So
I used to do that every year. December in the early 2000s, the Braves would sign a big player, and I'd get all amped up, and then I was like, nah, same old Braves get put out in the first round. They would get there. It makes the summer exciting, The summer's kind of a drag, after the finals and before the start of the NFL. Good transition there. Saturday, a lot of good games. I had to work last Saturday, but I'll tell you what, Cincinnati, Minnesota was a better team most of that game. You should have had that. Cincinnati comes back. Great catch there by T. Higgins to end it. What's your thoughts about Cincinnati, Minnesota there, and this backup quarterback for Cincinnati leading them to a little bit of a winning streak here?
Oh, this guy, he's got some moxie. He's got one of those I want to be in.
And Minnesota cut him. Did you hear that part?
Yeah. He got
a little revenge game.
Yeah, and he got like the chip on the shoulder, like he wanted to show people that he belongs. And I like that, man. I like that from a backup quarterback. I don't like that what I don't like from a backup is him looking over his shoulder like, am I still in the game? This guy's a gamer, bro. He's in there. Yeah. He's,
he's like, I belong here.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Some guys don't, it's like that swagger Brady had in Brock Purdy. I don't know if he's going to do that, but
right.
At least he's keeping this team's hopes alive.
Right, and he's an asset and he's not a liability, and that's the best way to put it. I mean, you got your guy there. I think he was a liability, and Joe Burrow, as much injuries as he's had, and I've always said that contract was no bueno, but they think he's a future, so they gave it to him. But this guy's showing him up a little bit, right? And look, credit to Taylor. Like everybody was saying that maybe he needs to.
Right, I was one of those people, and
I was one of those
guys. Good job, man.
But and this guy is being a smart quarterback, considering that he has a very little positive running game and an offensive line that's like
Pickles, that money they spent on Orlando Brown, I wish Tennessee would have did, or the Jets, but Cincinnati did, and it turned out to be a good payoff for them. They put Jonah Williams at right tackle. He's flourishing at right tackle.
Yeah, I know what here's the, and I mentioned this before, because it was brought up to me the other night. Do I think that that the Giants wasted a pick on what's his name, Evans? And I was like, well, I don't know because they don't.
Evan O'Neal.
Yeah, he haven't played with a good quarterback, and he's not on a decent line. But I'm not going to throw him under the bus. He is on the line that has a top 5 rated running back, so they're doing something. But he's not going to get rated for protecting the quarterback because that's something isn't on the quarterback's end, right? So plus, you don't have a top 5 quarterback, so you can't really tell if his rating. He's rated one of the last offensive linemen in the last 2 years. Like he's on the bottom of that list, and that's okay. In a sense where that QB is if your QB's good or doing great things to become better, then your O-line gets credit and looks like they're doing better, right?
Yeah.
So,
quarterback's got to get rid of the ball quickly. He's got to make quick decisions, man.
It's hard to say right now if Evan O'Neal's if he's like a terrible pick, a bust. But going back to Cincinnati, they O-line still ain't the best. They look better.
It's so much better than it has been the last 2 years.
I mean, I think
adding that left tackle and moving plus Williams usually gets hurt this time of year.
Yeah.
He was hurt last year. That's the reason why that people thought that maybe Burrow would make it back, and they got all the way to the AFC Championship game.
Here's the thing: they're trying to phase out Mixon because Mixon's not.
Yeah.
He's not the. guy that he used to be. Plus, he's always been an okay running back. He's not a great running back. As they try to phase him out, they got a QB that's playing pretty top notch. I'm sorry to say, and he's playing better than Burrow was playing.
Yeah, and Minnesota, they just
Vic
Mullins made a crucial mistake. What was that at the end of the first half? There, he threw a pick.
Yeah,
it's like he got overconfident a little bit.
I mean, I mentioned that last week that he's a gamer. He's a baller. He helped San Francisco out when
at times,
when what's his name was out. But Garoppolo, but the knock on him
always
was
hurt.
Like his accuracy, right? That's always been a knock on him. So,
Pickle says that Mixon ain't going. Mixon wants to stay in Cincinnati, man.
Yeah, no. Well, he mentioned he was going to retire last year, didn't he?
He's only like 28,
Yeah, but he's not like you. Are you going to build a foundation of running backs on a guy like Mixon?
No, not me. I'd have let him go last year. So let's move on. Thoughts about Pittsburgh, Indy. Pittsburgh loses another one. Indy kind of kills that. Do you think Mike Tomlin? I'm starting to hear people like Ryan Clark saying that Mike Tomlin, like Andy Reid, should just move on to another organization, maybe take the Charger job or something like that.
Interesting.
That's being floating around there today.
Here's the thing: if you're Mike Tomlin, do you want to go to the Chargers?
Wow. I just think maybe Pittsburgh wants him out.
But if
maybe the fan base, the ownership, they won't ever fire anybody.
No, they won't. He won't. If Tomlin leaves, he'll leave on his own accord. Would Tomlin go to a place like San Diego?
Well, it's warmer weather. They've got a franchise quarterback.
You get that.
He's a good disciplinarian, man. I think they do force players on him. He don't want to coach.
Right now, I'm feeling for the Chargers because I don't think there are many people that would take that job considering that ownership that they have.
Yeah. And now they're letting it leak out that, hey, there's no limitations. They're saying that now because they're getting this criticism, the Chargers.
But I say this about Tomlin. He's been over what? He wins an average of 9 games every year.
Yeah. He hasn't had a losing season, including last year.
So, I mean, and he hasn't had a lot of great players on his teams these last few years.
Well, quarterback-wise, yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like he got Ben Roethlisberger when Ben Roethlisberger was peaking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Bill Cowher only had Roethlisberger for 2 years. Then he retired on top. I mean, Cowher probably could have got 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, and he would have been right there with Chuck Noll. But he just wanted to leave, and I think his wife passed away, and everybody thought Bill Cowher was going to come back. And then Tomlin's done a good job. I think I think Brian Clark may have been on to something. Plus, these defensive-minded head coaches are not on my good list if I were Santa Claus.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the media and Roethlisberger saying things about the culture and the team's not the same. And it's kind of like I mentioned this morning with Keith. It's kind of like what's happening in Boston with the Patriots in New England. Like
same thing, except for it's worse with Belichick because he's picking the players.
Right, and not only that, even the players are not performing to the picks that he's making anyways. And he can't be wrong.
They had like 12 picks, and I don't know if any of them, other than the corner he picked in the first round, are doing anything.
Yeah, but Gonzalez was doing great until he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
So, but look, you can't depend on the draft for your team to be better, to get better. The draft is there for you to build depth. When you're depending on the draft to find a future star of next NFL season, then you're playing the lottery, man. You got $1 in a dream. When you say the name, that don't mean that you're gonna win the Super Bowl. It behooves me. So once you see GMs and these teams trying to fail and lose games to try to get higher on the draft board, when not all those players are gonna pan out. So, just like, and if you're not good at picking, just sell your picks, man. Get you some good players on the team.
Go after free agents. Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Personally, I don't think nothing's going to happen in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think
he'll probably stay, and they're going to say, well, we got to get Kenny back. We got to get Kenny Pickett healthy.
Yeah, give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking,
they still win with Pickett. They're just not pretty. That's all.
Right, and I'm thinking like him and Belichick are going to do the same thing. They've earned their keep. They've earned the respect of the owners. They've earned themselves the opportunity to say whether they want to come back, whether they come back or not, and the owners let them. That's different, right? But
what if he just steps away and does TV for 2 years?
Who, Tomlin? I don't know, man.
He's only like 51 or he's very young.
He's not that old, and
No.
I just think he's one of those like coaches that everybody likes, and he's going to be a hot commodity if he doesn't go back to Pittsburgh. So
he's a really ideal situation. He could do the TV thing. Everybody likes him. He's got a great personality.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll do San Diego because that ownership over there is not. Tom is a very smart, intelligent person, and he ain't going to put himself in a situation where he can't control it and get himself out if anything happens. So.
Yeah, I think they should go after Jim Harbaugh. If I were there's this stuff about the son being involved, Mr. the Spanos kid. And if that's true, he needs to go to Harbaugh personally, not the dad, and say, this is the way I want us to work this thing out. Are you interested? This is the freedoms you'll have. We're going to look at it man-to-man, eye-to-eye. Right off the bat, we're going to give understanding. Don't let Mr. Spanos go to Jim Harbaugh. Let the son say, this is where we should be. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But we've got $20 million over here, and you've got a ready-made team. What do you think, Jim? Maybe Jim just stays in Michigan and deals with whatever suspension that may get dealt to him.
I think some of these people in the media and in these the high ups don't understand how intelligent these coaches really are nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's not just the intellect that they have to manage a game, manage people, delegate, do whatever, but also to understand that these are about relationships. This is about business, but it's also about personal relationships. Yeah. And if you got an ownership that you have right now in the Chargers, there's going to be a lot of people not wanting to take that job, no matter how nice California sounds, man.
Yeah. So the taxes are high, but you don't know what the organization's going to be like.
You heard, but everybody knows what these organizations are like, right?
Yeah.
People were staying away from Washington until they got a new owner. People are like,
yeah, that's true. That's
so
true.
Like,
so they'll be able to attract them a pretty qualified candidate there.
Look what the Raiders are going through. The Raiders are that's a headache.
Well, yeah, you don't know what Mark Davis is going to do one day to the next. He's unpredictable. He's like Jim Irsay with the
another owner, and and then also Arthur, right? And in the Falcons,
he pretty much said that in so many words that Arthur Smith needs to win out.
Like,
when they say we want to see how the season plays out at this point in the season,
in
other words, you need to win out. We know you got an easy schedule,
right?
Even though your quarterbacks stink. Any thoughts on Denver beating Detroit there? Detroit a little hot there. Sean Payton blasting Russell Wilson on the sideline. That got a little bit of airway. Some people, I've heard mixed messages on that. He is the play caller. Payton's a play caller. Right. Wilson's a player. It kind of reminded me of Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady going back and forth on the sideline. I was a little bit concerned, but now I'm not as overwhelmed about it. Denver getting blown out by Detroit last Saturday.
Yeah, and I think it was time for Detroit to step it up. And the key to that game was Laporta stepped up. He had 2 touchdowns. I mean,
man, he's balling, ain't he?
Yeah, he maybe gets about 4 to 8 points in fantasy points anyways. But,
yeah,
I mean, and him doing what he did allowed less of an opportunity for Goff to screw up the game. Like, And so when you're scoring touchdowns and not throwing interceptions, you are going to be in a positive. The defense played well. Laporta also allowed the running game to flourish, right? Because everybody's like, oh, Goff is going to throw it. No, they can run the ball as well. So, those things work in Goff's way. As long as he ain't there to mess up anything, they will be okay. But to that point, you cannot sign this guy next season because you can't depend on him.
Who?
Goff. Like he's not one of those guys that you're going to be like, yeah, that's the guy.
I think he's got one more year left. By the way, side note, Hendon Hooker's been back practicing again for everybody. He's finally recovered from ACL. I'm curious to see how he's going to play. Speaking of Detroit, did you read that? I don't know if you caught this, but Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, this Josina Anderson lady is reporting, I think she's ESPN, but I'm not sure now, that he's wanting like $15 million to be a head coach.
Man, he's
like 37 years old, and he's been to techno music, Pickles. Just saying.
He knows about it. He's been to a
club. Hey, it's striking the iron while the iron's hot, Where's my $15 million to be an OC?
Yeah, I mean, but they can get the contract, but will they make the money? Because if they start losing and get fired, there's only so much guaranteed money they'll get. So,
I think that was a shot at the owner for the Panthers who interviewed him last year. Like, to even talk to me, dude, we need to talk $15 million per before I even get on the airplane to do a second interview.
Team that's going to suffer right now is the Panthers, but they did get a win, right?
That's true, and so I guess we need to start listening to that Fat Boy Slim. And start learning a little bit of offense. Man, you can make some more money there, brother.
I'm more of a Moby.
Praise you like I would. Remember that?
I'm more of a Moby fan than I am Fat Boy.
Moby, you don't know me. NMM said nobody listens to techno. That's an inside joke for some of the viewers. Pickles, he hates these young coaches. He says they look like techno geeks there, for the side note. Anyways, let's see. Ravens, Jags, you could tell that Lawrence is just not ready, man. He's limping around there, and the Ravens look good. Lamar's still playing well. He's in the conversation to get a second MVP. Yeah, I don't know if he'll get it.
I would rather him not get an MVP and win a Super Bowl than.
I'm sure he would too.
So, because if you win the MVP, you're less likely to win a Super Bowl.
The odds are against you now, unless your name's Pat Mahomes, who did it last year.
Right.
And before that, it was Kurt Warner back in 99, 2000. Let's see. Man, you Dallas, Buffalo, you was spot on there. Yeah. Dallas was bored flat. What do you think about my take on Buffalo, that maybe they're getting hot at the right time?
Nah, they ain't getting hot. I mean, the only thing hot in Buffalo are them wings, man. Let me tell you something.
I was gonna say it ain't the temperature. It's always 1,000 below zero up there.
No, I mean, look, and I told Keith this morning on the show, you guys caught it. Buffalo actually ran the ball. Like they act with the running back, the feature running back.
James Cook, man.
Yeah, and he had more than 10 touches and 60 yards. So
179 all-purpose the last two games.
Yeah, and here's the thing. What tape did Dallas have to see and to practice off and realize that this might be an option for them to do? And my thing, and I told Keith, and Keith actually was like, why didn't Dallas adjust their defense to the running game instead of trying to play Allen and spy on him, which is what they were set up to do. Because they know, and everybody knows this, for the last 2 years, Allen's going to take the ball, do whatever he needs to try to get a win, and most of the time that's running the ball. So, that one thing that changed the whole game, that one just running the ball changed the whole game for them. And
it helps the defense out and everything.
Yeah, so now Buffalo has this idea that they can run the ball, but they're gonna get stomped out because now the tape's out on them, and they won't be able to do anything. Everybody knows how to stop the Bills, and they're not going nowhere. So
okay, well, I mean, we don't know. I mean,
they might make the playoffs, but
they don't have an offensive-minded head coach, and you may very well be right. But if it was me, it just kind of reminds me of Joseph Adai when he came on.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but here's a difference. Here's a difference, Robert, and this is how disrespectful Buffalo is. They gave the game ball to Allen as if he was the one.
Well, I'd have turned around and gave it back to James Cook.
But still, how do you do that? How are you so dense? This guy did something that nobody did at all for you. There hasn't been a running back in 3 seasons to have that kind of game for Buffalo, right? And you turn around, and you give the ball to the quarterback. And if I'm the running back, I'm like, you know what? Next week I'll just make 10 yards and you guys figure it out since I'm not valuable.
And Allen said, this is like a science project, and I was a guy that didn't contribute because he didn't have a huge game. But that's how you win in the playoffs, power football like that.
And he still got the game ball.
Maybe I don't know who gave him the game ball.
Maybe he gave it to Cooks. Maybe he did that, but still, that's just
But Cook is young. I think he's in his 2nd or 3rd year. He's very young. He's the younger brother of Dalvin.
Yeah, right.
I hope they don't get stupid. They got to play Miami at the end of the season. They got the Chargers this week. You got to be careful with teams who just fired their coach. Chargers won't have a lot of players. They should beat the LA Chargers. Don't get me wrong. Bosa's out. Herbert's out. I mean, but we'll see.
They might just
Buffalo could screw this thing up too. You never know. Philadelphia, Seattle. I don't know if you heard my analysis, but Seattle got lucky there. You know that Philly got robbed on that Quez Watkins, that interception, that first one that Hurts through, where he pushed that guy, and then the cornerback Love pushed out Quez Watkins, picked the ball off. It should have been 1st and go at the 1. Otherwise, that would have been an Eagles win, but that didn't happen. What's your thoughts on that game, though?
I thought the Eagles had this game when after Hurts threw the 2nd interception, the defense came out and put away the Seahawks, right? They made them punt, and then they come back and allowed the Seahawks to get back in the game.
That one was terrible. That second one was just awful.
So this game, I feel like
they got greedy with that second one. They didn't need that pass.
They had the kicker waiting there. As soon as they started marching down the field, the kicker was already getting warmed up. Hurts got a 20-yard run because the defense was playing prevent.
Yeah.
He could have got maybe 10, 15 more to get a field goal. So I would have ran the same
Carroll, he probably reminded those Seattle players, I won like 8 straight.
Well, I mean, I'm not an Eagles fan. And mind you, I picked Seattle to win this game.
You picked Seattle, yeah, and you got back in mine in your little race there. It ticked me off.
I was like, but I'm just watching the game like, what are you doing? And Sirianni blew 2 timeouts. Like he didn't use them.
Here's a quote from the Philly sports guy who made the trip thousands and thousands of miles away from Philadelphia. I wanted to play it for you while you're on the air after Seattle beat the Eagles. If it'll come up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Sometimes it don't come up.
What up?
Yeah.
Not the ending I wanted.
I mean, I don't.
That still makes me laugh.
I don't. This loss is on the coaching staff. For allowing,
a lot of undercurrents are going on there.
For allowing
both coaches on offense and defense.
Yes, and they allowed Hurts to play this game, coming from the flu. Once he threw the first interception, they should have, or even on halftime, they should have took him out. This is a game that Mariota could have ran the offense, and they could have run the. See, the Eagles, had they run the ball 5 to 10 more minutes more in this game, they would have probably won this game.
Yeah. I'm glad you're acknowledging the Eagles lost this game. The Seahawks didn't win this game.
But they took this is what the kind of coaches, Super Bowl winning coaches do. They take advantage of situations that are given to them.
Yeah.
And this is something that Pete Carroll does. He pulls rabbits out of his hat, dude. He coaches He coaches you up. He lets you,
Yeah.
you know, and you. The
Yeah.
Seahawks have weapons.
It makes me bite my lip just watching Pete Carroll. Why he chews gum like that? I would never chew gum like that. Man, you know how many times I bite my tongue and stuff chewing gum like that?
The way people see the Seahawks, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They got Lockett, they got Metcalf, they got this new one.
Jackson Majigma Smith. What a great catch.
And this
Bobo.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like you
Walker.
The Walker's okay. The only thing they're missing is that one crazy running back that they can pound the rock with. But listen, but even remember I said Bobo.
They need Marshawn Lynch type of player. Yeah. Pickles is right now. Geno Smith will be back for the audience. I just read that. And listen, Tennessee Titans fans, they need to lose this game. You're out of the playoffs. You need to lose this game to get closer to top 5 picks so you can get one of those tackles.
I mean, Tennessee has.
You play to lose the game when you're on the draft tankathon.
No, because the draft don't bring you nothing but fantasy.
It brings you hope.
I mean, who do you want, man? Who you going to get that's going to
Fashanu from Penn State needs to be Tennessee's left tackle next year. Or that Joe Alt guy from Notre Dame would be fine.
Alt is the pick.
Yeah, Notre Dame's been putting out offensive linemen like nobody's business.
No, but you know, if you have a guy who's like Sonorsky, who has family, played in NFL, has you know, and then you get someone like Alt who has a family that's played in Major League Sports, NHL, and a football player,
and he's a Notre Dame player who's
and on top of that, come from that, like, you know. You want guys like that got that, not just the grit, but got that foundation of you know, competitiveness, man. You want that on your team. So, but again, even if you get some of those guys and they're injury prone, like, you know, you got the Patriots or you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, like, you know, like you're not guaranteed to get a winning team by drafting them in the NFL draft. It doesn't always. It can happen.
I like what Rand Carthon's done for that team, though. And, you know, Spears is having a good year. Levis has shown some promise. And Sonorsky's been playing the way I expected him to play, which is really well, you know?
I think Hopkins is helping Burks out a little bit as far as, like, trying to get him up to par, you know. He's in and out of the lineup because of injuries, but we need you know, we would like to see him be healthy. I'd like to see Burks perform at a higher level.
Yeah.
So that's
the problem. Yeah. Thinking out loud, they have a lot of money in salary cap room next year. They are actually pretty close to the top of the league. One website earlier this week, one guy said Tennessee's got the most money. Others say it's the Bears, but Tennessee's either 1 or 2. T. Higgins is a free agent next year.
Right. It's a $1 million.
Michael Pittman's going to be a free agent next year for the Colts. He's a good player. So, you know, it is what it is.
You was over here in the beginning before the NFL season started. You don't need to pick a wide receiver or a running back. You can get them from anywhere. Now you're looking like
when you have a young quarterback on a rookie contract, you want to overcompensate him early in his career. Then you're going to have to start taking pieces off when you have to pay him more money. That's my thing. So overcompensating, yes, I'd rather go lineman than receiver. But if they're drafting 10 or 11, they mess around and win these next couple games and drop to 12 or 13. So they're not going to get one of those tackles. They may have to go out and get Jonas Williams, who's from Cincinnati, and they may have to go out and get a receiver. But if they do lose those games and they get the offensive line in draft, they can probably be another receiver because Burks is hurt, and maybe they want to trade Hopkins to a Kansas City team for another player. So it's food for thought.
You're already planning the future, and you ain't even.
Yeah, I'm playing general manager, armchair general manager for them. But let's move on. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, big game tomorrow. What's your thoughts about that game, man? And Mason Rudolph will be playing for Pittsburgh instead of Trubisky.
Ain't he the one? Remember he got smacked upside the head with the helmet?
Yeah. About Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, yeah.
Yeah, you got a good memory, man.
Oh man, how many games has he won in NFL career?
I can't remember. I want to say not many. That's the problem. It's just I don't have faith in him nor Trubisky. If Pickett was playing, this would be easy.
So, that's funny that you said because a lot of people were like they were not liking
Pickett's out and Fitzpatrick, their safety's out again. He got hurt again.
Michael Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I don't know, man. Cincinnati will probably win this 21-17.
That's funny. I said 2017. For Pickett being out, I know Tomlin's got some heat on him, but I don't believe in Mason Rudolph.
I mean, they're gonna run the ball, right? They got
Browning, and plus Jamar Chase will not play in this game. So
they got Warren and Najee Harris. They're gonna run the ball. They're not gonna they're not gonna expose Rudolph. And
so you're saying Cincinnati 21-17. I say Cincinnati 20. We're pretty close on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mason Rudolph, he can throw the ball.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen
he's a better thrower than Trubisky.
Yeah, he's more accurate and he has a stronger arm, but that's not much when you're talking about comparing him to Trubisky. Like, you know, the only reason
Rudolph delivers on Christmas pickles. They got to move that game down to Christmas Day.
The only reason he's
Rudolph, the backup quarterback,
had a very funny game.
Yeah.
Like no, but
poor Rudolph. Oh man.
The only reason he's still in the NFL is because he's got a pretty decent arm strength.
Yeah.
You know,
he's probably a guy that's early at practice and drinks all the milkshakes. He knows all the answers. He's the coach's pet. He's a good practice guy. He's like Nathan Peterman, I would guess.
This guy. Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, you like Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati.
Where are they playing this? Where are they playing this?
It's at Pittsburgh. You want to pick Pittsburgh?
You picking Cincinnati to win?
Yeah.
How about this? Flip the score, 21-17. Pittsburgh will get the upset.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going with Cincinnati. You're going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I guess you're trying to.
And both of these teams, it's going to be a kicking game, guys. It's going to be field goals.
It'll be a tight game. It's not
going to be a fun watch for sure.
All right. No, it'll be dramatic. Cleveland at Houston. Now, record-wise, these two teams are in it, man.
Oof.
These two teams are in it. Hey, what do you think about my take about maybe Stefanski? Does he get Coach of the Year again? They've got 4 quarterbacks that's come through there, man.
I like that call because of the merry-go-round that's going on over there. I like when he said that. I was like, but somebody else will probably get it. You know, just like Dabo got it last year. He really didn't deserve it, but whatever.
Right. They'll probably give it to the Miko Ryans, but
right.
You know, they've lost 2. Their backup right tackle's been out. And their left tackle's been out for a while, not to mention Nick Chubb.
Yeah. How about this, Robert? I'm going to say this. The winner of this game, the coach will get Coach of the Year. How about that?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Because Houston will be in really good shape if they beat Cleveland. Cleveland's got a really good defense. Casey Keenum's playing for Houston. I've already picked Cleveland to win this game 22-19. It's going to be a nail biter. It could go either way.
Yeah, and
do you like Cleveland or Houston? Excuse me.
I like Houston's defense.
At home?
I don't like Case Keenum in the fact that they will put in the other guy because Keenum's arm strength. I don't like when they do that. And I don't think they should do that.
If Stroud was playing, I would take Houston definitely. But Stroud's got a concussion. Who was
the other backup that went in?
Keenum is. He beat Tennessee last week.
Yeah, but they took him out for the other guy to throw before they went to overtime.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name.
Bollinger? No, it's not Bollinger.
No, but I tell you what, Houston played better with Keenum anyways. They come back on Titans and beat them, you know.
Yeah, but again, when it came down to try to win the game, they took
Davis
Keenum
Mills,
out.
yeah. And Mills beat Tennessee last year. I don't know why they
Davis
didn't
Mills.
keep him.
Davis Mills.
You know, but Keenum's bagged in big playoff games. He's played well for Cleveland. I don't know what the deal was with Keenum. I mean, he's pretty good. He would be my backup.
The problem with Keenum is, and the thing is out on him, that his arm strength. He can't rip the ball.
But you still think Houston's going to win with Keenum?
No. I feel like if the coaching staff has to like make decisions of actually taking him out.
So you're going to take Cleveland?
Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland because their defense.
What's the score?
17-14.
Okay. I said 22-19. You're saying it's not going to be a shootout either. I know these games don't look big, people, but they are playoff level games, okay?
But how about this? Their defense is going to have to be on because Singletary is playing one of the best.
Singletary's playing good. It makes me think that maybe Buffalo should not have let him walk, you know?
And the thing with Houston is if that kid's not playing, Watson, is that his name, Watson? What's that wide receiver? What's his name? If
Collins?
Huh?
Collins?
No, the other one, the quick one. If he's not in the game, the
Tank Dell's out too.
The Texans ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
What's his
Collins
name?
is question. That's why I think. That's why. Plus, Will Anderson's out for Houston. You know, Houston's got a lot of injuries, man. But so does Cleveland. But Cleveland, they got a little flow going about them.
The Cleveland's defense is making dividends.
Schwartz has did good, and I've dogged out Schwartz in the past. But
and credit to Garrett. Maybe he might be an MVP.
Pickle's saying he's MVP. I mean, he's playing out of this world, man.
There you go, bro. I didn't even see that until I said
I know. A lot of people saying that.
Yeah, he is a no quit this year, and I think he just wants to get people to understand that he's a good football player. He's had stuff in the past, and
so you like Cleveland mainly because of Garrett on that
defense wins the game, bro. I'm old school like that. You know that.
Well, they're very physical. I know.
Yeah,
it's hard to pick a team with that many injuries, but, man, they just keep on keeping on, man.
Yeah, and I mentioned when I was during the show the other day, you were talking about the physicality of teams. I'm like, bro, there's only 3 teams that are physical like this year, and that's the 49ers,
Ravens,
the Ravens, and Cleveland. Detroit has ups and downs. Like, no, there's no toughness, like competitiveness coming consistently out of
everybody in the AFC North's pretty physical, I think.
AFC North?
Yeah. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
I think Baltimore and Cincinnati are, and the rest are just trying to win off.
Pittsburgh's not as physical as they used to be.
Yeah. I think
they're more of a speed team now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So. TJ's more of a speedster rather than his brother. Speaking of speed, what about Lions at Minnesota? Nick Mullins will be back here. I tell you what, a lot of people talking about Brian Flores maybe getting another head coaching job. It's hard to go against him, even though he's a defensive-minded guy.
I'm glad you mentioned his name. If there's anybody who would go to the Chargers, it'd be Flores.
Well, I mean,
you know why?
Why is that?
Flores has gotten burned by different type of ownership. You know, remember, it's about relationships.
Yeah.
And he ain't got no ties to.
Well, he's a defensive guy. Do you think they would stay defensive minded when they fired Staley?
Yeah, I think they would go to someone like him because he has a better track record on defense anyways.
Okay. And maybe he brings a good coordinator. I mean, it's food for thought. He'll get the interview if he wants it. He's coaching well. Danielle Hunter. I never heard of Daniel Hunter to this year. He's playing great. You know, got a chick name. Guy's got a lot of sacks, though.
That defense is why I picked him to win last week. I was surprised that.
Well, he was right, like 98% of the game.
Yeah, but you know, that offense needs to score points, and Mullins can't give up the ball. So, but I will pick the Vikings again.
I figured you'd pick them at home. I still like Detroit. Detroit matches up real well against them, but it's a very close game, 24-23.
Robert, what you drinking in Tennessee? Because you be talking about the Bills and the Lions like as if they won Super Bowl.
Man, that's your Super Bowl, dude. Lions and Bills. Two never coulds.
And they should play. They should play it. Where should they play the Super Bowl if they were to get there?
Man, that would be nice. I don't know. That's a good question. People have been talking about Buffalo getting a dome for years.
They ain't gonna do it.
About Lions, Detroit, cold.
The Bills ain't gonna do it. They already said that.
I could see Minnesota winning this game, but with Mullins versus Goff, Lions. I don't know, man. Lions match up really well.
I have more confidence in Mullins than I do in Goff. In
fact, what's the score?
24 17. I just think he's going to
24-17 Minnesota.
I think he's going. Yeah, I think he's just going.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of belief in that Lions secondary, do you?
I don't. I just don't. I think Goff would just give up a game, bro. Like,
yeah,
he plays one good game, then he plays 3 bad games. Then he plays one good game, and he plays 2 bad.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point. I may lose this one picking Detroit, but I know Detroit's going to take care of business. But we'll see. We'll see. With that improvement on defense, Justin Jefferson should destroy their corners.
The only good thing about Detroit is their coach and the culture that he's trying to build up there.
Yeah, and I like the emergence of Gibbs. He's turning into the number 1 running back instead of Montgomery.
Right.
And they've got some injuries there. Their running back's injured, but I think that Chandler they got from Tennessee is okay.
That rookie they got, he's good.
Yeah, for Minnesota.
No, for
Chandler.
No, for for Detroit.
Oh, Gibbs. Detroit.
Yeah. What's his name?
Saporsha.
No, the first draft pick that they got.
Addison.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he may run off with it. So you may be right here, But we'll see. I mean, Detroit will probably let me down, but I'm gonna stick with Detroit. I'll stick with Detroit.
He got Barry Sanders on his mind. You can't get past that. You can't get past Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders. You think that
that would have been nice to see them in the Super Bowl. Hey, what about Dallas and Miami here? What's your analysis on that one? That one come down to the last hour on me. I was back and forth all week with that game.
I think this game will probably be a tie, bro. But
wow, could be.
I mean, I don't know. So Tyreek Hill's not playing.
No, he's going to play.
He is?
Yeah.
They announced that?
He's trending towards playing. He's been limited. He's trending towards playing. That's everything I'm reading.
Even if he didn't, I mean, he does impact the game, but Waddle and A-Chain and Mostert, they do a pretty good job playing off each other.
Yeah. And all those guys will be playing. And still, A-Chain is really been a good addition for them. He will.
Yeah, man, it changes the whole perspective of the team.
Now I'll say this: Dallas's left tackle now, Tyron Smith, doubtful. Jonathan Hankins, their defensive tackle, out. Big run stopper there. As you can see, which way I'm leaning, judging by those 2 injuries alone for Dallas.
Here's the thing: the Dolphins, if they could just go out there and run, and run this defense tired, right? Because the defense they haven't played well in the last 2 games. If they run this defense tired, then they're going to have an opportunity to win this game. But they not only do they have to run this team, they have to score more than 27 points and just keep scoring, which they can. The Dolphins can.
Yeah.
My question to you is this: can the Dallas Cowboys score more than 27 points against the Dolphins and their defense with that time that would be eaten away?
See, I don't think they can.
That's interesting.
This feels like the Jacksonville Cowboy game last year, where Cowboys had the lead early, they lose it late, and Jacksonville comes home with a win. Dallas has trouble beating formidable opponents on the road. Dolphins haven't beat anybody over 500. Something's got to give today. Like you said, it could be a tie. I think the Dolphins find a way to win. I'm like Pickles. I think the Dolphins win 24-20. Could be a little higher. But I think both teams are really paying attention to their playbooks. Yep. A lot of people's picking Dallas to win because they got humiliated last week. But Dallas has got injuries, man. That left tackle going against Bradley Chubb.
Here's the thing. Who do you think is tougher? Whoever you think is tougher is the team that's going to win.
Well, Dallas is probably tougher.
You think?
But Dallas has problems against teams with that running style. Remember when Arizona ran on them earlier this year? And also Dallas had offensive line players that were out in that game, and they lost also. So everything is leaning, to me, it's leaning against Dallas.
How about this?
If this were played in Dallas and Smith was back, it would be Dallas all day.
The only way I would give Dallas this win is if the running back would get more than 20 carries and get more than 70 yards.
Yeah.
That'd be the only way the Cowboys will win this game. And because they don't do that.
I don't know why they don't bring that little dude in there. That guy they got from TCU, man. He's like 5'3".
Yeah, and because they don't do that, because they're just throwing the ball, they will only score 24 points, right? It won't have enough time to score.
You picking Miami too?
27-24.
Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, Dallas fans, it is what it is, man. I just can't trust Dallas when they got those injuries on their offensive line, you know? It's a road game.
And Robert, to be honest with you, this is not like I wouldn't bet on this game. This isn't like a guarantee.
No.
Not for nothing, but because the Dolphins has showed that their defense is kind of inconsistent.
Yeah. The offense ain't beat anybody over 500, you know? But the Cowboys have problems on the road, but you got that left tackle, you got the defensive tackle out.
For all these teams, it's something. It's like
nobody's perfect.
No, they ain't got no team over here that cannot not win.
No. All right, big heavyweight matchup here. Baltimore at San Francisco. San Francisco 6.5 point favorite. Mike Florio with Pro Football Talk. He's talking San Francisco up, trying to get the 49ers in trouble. Lamar Jackson 19-1 against NFC teams. Like I said earlier this week, I don't know if you caught this on the program, but the 49ers played these guys back in 19 when they had a great season. Now, that was Lamar's second year. Jimmy Garoppolo, it was only a 3-point game. A lot of those players are back with the 49ers. 49ers got the speed on defense to contain Lamar Jackson. So, their left tackle's out but it seems like it doesn't matter for Lamar. That Keaton guy's out, that running back for Baltimore. He got hurt. They still got Gus Edwards. I still like 49ers to win. I don't know if they'll cover that spread. I think it's going to be 27-23, 49ers win. But we'll see. We'll see. I think Ravens will give them all they can handle and then some. It's at Santa Clara on Monday night.
If the Seahawks gave the 49ers a problem, I feel like the Ravens can play up and give the 49ers a problem. And I feel like their defense don't get enough credit. They're a dirty and tough team. Yeah,
they're the deepest defense in the league, if you ask me.
Yeah,
the Ravens.
And people just kind of like, they get lost in the mix and all this talk about defense. I think their defense going to show up. And I think this is the Super Bowl, people. Y'all want to watch a game? This is the Super Bowl. You don't want to watch.
A lot of people are saying that.
We're going to watch the rest of the season play itself out with teams that barely over 500 making the playoffs. But this is the game of the week. You watch this. I feel like the Ravens might win this one to try to prove a point to scare the 49ers. And it's going to be 27-21.
Ravens. Man, that's pretty cool. That's about like that's close to the Super Bowl score back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think there's gonna be that much offense to be played if Purdy's running backwards a lot.
Yeah.
But they got to get.
They're going to have their A game for the Ravens now.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens, they don't bite on anything. You have to make a perfect pass every time. I think Brandon Ayuk will have a good game. I think he'll have a good game.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I think it's just going to be some Deebo Samuel.
what's his name will have? If the tight end don't have a good game, they're gonna lose this game.
Kittle?
Yeah,
Kittle probably have a good game.
If Kittle doesn't have a good
Pickles
game,
is picking the Ravens too. I like the Niners this game.
Everybody likes the Niners, but the problem with the Niners is if they get smacked up and they get
they can knock out Brock Purdy. Anything can happen with the Ravens. Oh, hey, want to make a quick announcement to the audience here now. Folks that follow me on the Mac and Jack and Jim Jeffcoat show, this week will be my last week on there as a regular because I'm trying to tighten up my schedule a little bit. But that doesn't mean I won't make guest appearances on the Mac and Jack and Jim Jeffcoat show. Just trying to get some more, time to edit out the show. By the way, your prediction of Alabama and Georgia score, that's got the most views on YouTube. That clip, 2,200 views, man. So appreciate that. So you're telling me this week you like Pittsburgh and you like Minnesota's who we got different, right?
Yeah, I like Baltimore. Yeah, in Baltimore, yeah.
So I'm up 1.
Oh no, and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we agree on the Dolphins. We agree on the Browns. I'm up 1. You may be up 2 towards the end of the week.
And I told you, and I keep saying this, and I'll repeat it because I believe it. I don't trust McCarthy, and I don't trust Sirianni. They're too passive aggressive. You saw that in a lot.
Philadelphia, yeah.
You saw these in these games, and you go where your leadership goes, right? And then you go also where your quarterback takes you, but your quarterback takes the lead from the coach.
Yeah, you got a good point with Sirianni. He kind of reminds me of Joe Judge a little bit, the former Giants coach.
Aren't they brothers? No. No. He got brothers, but he ain't Judge's brother yet.
Oh man, what was that guy's name? Martin Lawrence. He says we got LT in the house tonight, and we got Ice-T. Y'all got the same mother or something? Y'all brothers?
Martin's something else, bro.
I heard that. That was the old one back in the 90s. Hey, man, you have a Merry Christmas, man. Do you have anything to plug?
I just want to say happy holidays. Happy New Year. See you guys next year. No, just kidding.
I hope you'll be back next Sunday.
You guys be safe. Try to spend time with your families. Forget about work. Enjoy the holiday season for what it's worth. A little break. Try not to work overtime, extra time, because it ain't worth it. You only have family for so long. You never know, what can happen. So, everybody just enjoy this holiday season for what it's worth. All right.
Yeah, that's the thing with me. They asked me to work tomorrow, and I said, listen, I worked last Saturday. I worked the Saturday before that when they had those tornadoes in Clarksville. I was actually working back in our old stomping grounds, man. We had some tornadoes touch down in Clarksville, Chief.
Yeah, I know. And prayers to all. I forgot to mention that last week when I was on. Prayers to those people in Clarksville, Middle Tennessee, Southern Middle Kentucky area with the tornadoes.
Yeah. Thank
you. We just, it's not the first time that's happened there, but
that's the roughest I've ever seen.
Yeah, the best and only thing about that is that true love came out. Humans helping humans, the community picking each other up, picking up. The volunteer state, that's one of the reasons why I miss back home, man. Everybody got back no matter what. And you guys testament to what that area is about. And, much love and much prayers go out to you guys. And I'm sorry for those who we're going to have a tough holiday season without homes or displaced. And, just know that you're safe. You got a community that backs you. And if you need anything, if you guys truly, really need anything, just ask, man. And people will come out in the hundreds.
Yeah, people's coming out in droves. A friend of mine still lives up there. He's been helping out and stuff.
People, everybody, man. God bless all you guys. And like I said, be safe and, enjoy your holiday season, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Chad, Kathy, Pickles. Man, I feel like Snoop or Tupac. Big Syke, Snoop, Hank, go darn. I'll see you next Friday, man.
Yes. Have a good one, guys.
All right, guys. See ya.